came home to find two identical pots sitting in the kitchen, left by my stepmother. One pot had no meat, while the other was filled to the brim. I knew that the pot brimming with meat was for her daughter, while mine had only a few scattered pieces of meat. 15 years have passed. My career has flourished, and I've become what people call a wealthy man. Yet, the favoritism my stepmother showed back then has remained like a thorn in my heart. Over the years, I've tasted countless delicacies, but what I miss the most is the potato stew with meat that my mother used to make when she was still alive. I heard there's a restaurant that can recreate the flavors of memory, so I decided to give it a try. The restaurant owner personally prepares the dishes, while his daughter helps guests rediscover their memories. Here, patrons don't order from a menu. Dishes are served solely at the owner's discretion. It was spring when I visited, and the owner served me a flower viewing bento. This carefully prepared bento was like a work of art. A single bite was all it took to taste the dedication infused in every grain of rice. At that moment, I knew I had come to the right place. I told the owner's daughter that the flavor I remembered was the potato stew with meat my mother used to make when I was little. I still remember the portion my mother made for me always had more lean meat than fatty meat. The next morning, the owner took a boat to my hometown and even found the old house where I grew up. 2 weeks later, he placed a plate of potato stew with meat in front of me. I picked up a piece of meat, tasted it carefully, and realized it was the taste of my stepmother's cooking, not my mother's. Just as I was about to leave, the owner stopped me and explained the reason. It turned out that before my mother passed away, she had personally handed a recipe book to my stepmother, detailing the foods I liked and disliked. I opened that yellowed recipe book and finally understood why my stepmother's potato stew tasted different. As a picky child who hated carrots, my mother would mince them into fine pieces and sprinkle them in like seasoning. Later, when I grew out of my picky eating habits, my stepmother started cutting the carrots into chunks. This was why their versions of the stew differed in color. When I tasted the finely shredded carrot bits in the dish, they gave me exactly the taste I remembered from my mother's cooking. The owner told me that 15 years ago, my stepmother hadn't put more meat in my pot for fear that it would stick to the bottom with prolonged cooking, and, more importantly, that it might spoil if I returned late. I never returned home after I left, yet my stepmother cleaned my room every day. My old textbooks and little toys were all carefully stored by her. The latter half of the recipe book also contained many dishes she had added later, all adjusted to suit my current tastes. When I learned these truths, I was filled with regret.